Well, hello, fabulous DIYers. It's Daniela Tabois here. And in this video, I'm going to be redesigning Catwoman's look. And since I'm into cosplay right now, I feel like this would be a fun tutorial. Right now, I am working on the sketch. And I wanted Catwoman to have a cat suit that metamorphs into a mermaid gown, just to give her like a little bit of different look to her from her usual look. And this would probably be for something like if, let's say, Batman were to invite her somewhere and she decided to cooperate with him and go to this event that he invited her. She just wanted to switch things up. But since she is that girl, you know, she couldn't just drop the cat suit. So she somehow incorporated her suit into this gown. And when she appeared, Batman was like, couldn't you be more discreet? And this is what discreet meant for her. So I'm kind of excited about this. This is like a fun challenge, you know? So, and I want to give a big shout out to Zoe Kravitz for getting the Catwoman lead in the new Batman movie. So I'm looking forward to that, girl. So here is my sketch, fully done and complete. So as you can see, this is just a quick sketch of the flat. Basically what I want it to look like, with a lot of seams in the front to kind of look like a corset, a built-in corset, but really it's going to be faux. It's not going to have any bones or anything like that. I just want it to look like it does. And to really solidify everything, the bottom's going to be fur. So, it's leopard print. So it's still in the kitty cat family. All right. She went up and took it up a notch. So let's proceed with this look. So here is the fabric that I'm working with. This is 4 yards of faux fur. I think it's 54 inches wide. And it has a little bit of stretch to it, which I absolutely love. Next, I have 1.5 yards of this patented leather, faux leather fabric. I'm going to be using this part for the upper bodice of the gown. So this is stretch lining. I'm using this for the lining in the gown, the upper part of the dress. So here is my chic dress that I had draped. If you want to see a video on how I did this, you can watch this video that is linked above here in the video, and it will basically show you how I draped this. Now I want the gown to be half patented and then the rest is going to be fur, which I wanted to stop down at the knees so I can create a circle hem. But I'm going to work with the upper bodice first to create the design. So what I'm going to do is create a sweetheart. Way down here. And I want this to be like that. So I want it kind of like a ball cup. I also want it to come this way. And I want this to be going here or here. Maybe I want it here. I want a high cut. So I'll bring this down some more. Like that. I'm going to keep the style very simple as the sketch. And this will go straight towards the back. Nothing dramatic. Put this, oops. It's so hard to do it on myself. Now I'm going to keep this back seam. So in one of my videos I mentioned that I have like ripples that happens in the back, and I'm seeing that now because I know I had already corrected this issue, but as I relax I can see that the back is still rippling here. So what I'm going to do is try to pin this so I can take some of that off, so that way the back can be more shapely towards my back. And it's very hard to do that because since my arm is not relaxed. So, if anything, I can take off some more. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these apart and then place them onto the fabric. So here is my dress. I already took half of it apart, and as you can see, I went ahead and pressed this part out and made sure it's flat, so when I go ahead and cut it, it'll be all even and adjusted with that new adjustment that I did to the back, center back difference. Also, I think I'm going to take this line and put it right here instead. So from this point, so these are the pattern pieces. Everything is separated, and where I need to add the seam allowance, I will add, and where I don't need a seam allowance, I won't be adding seam allowance there. So first I'm going to be working with the top, so I'm going to take the bottom parts away and save that for later. Right now, this is the top portion, and all I'm doing is basically going to place it onto the fabric that I'm going to cut, and then place seam allowance in the areas that need seam allowance, and then cut it out on fabric. So everything is cut out right now, and now I'm going to go ahead and sew each and every piece together. So this is the center front bust part of the front, but I'm going to be doing a lot of top stitching, and in order for me to do that, I cannot sew directly underneath this presser foot because this presser foot will not glide or stitch over this fabric because it's sticky. So what I'm going to use is wax or baking sheet paper like this. I'm going to cut a strip and then place it right on top of the seam allowance. So I'm going to push all of this to one side like this, and then I'm going to place the strip so I can top stitch the top stitching on the seam allowance. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm filling for the seam so that way I can engage the width of my top stitching from the seam. So once I'm finished stitching, and cut this away. And then all you have to do is just peel this back. Just be careful because it might pull in the stitches. But other than that, just peel it back just like this. And then you'll have your top stitch. So this is the front of the bodice. I fully stitched it. Looks great. The front so far. And here is the back. So I'm gonna go and work on the skirt, the bottom portion of the skirt, and then connect it with the front and back of the top. So here is my skirt. The front, I went ahead and pressed it because I wanted it to be one whole piece, but the back seemed to have more of a shape. So I'm gonna see if I can press this out to get the shape, because I didn't want to have a seam at the back. But if it doesn't press out right, I'm gonna have to separate this and have a seam at the back. Okay, so I pressed out my skirts. As you can see, the back is completely pressed now. I'm gonna make some adjustments to the hem when I cut it out on the faux fur. So here's the upper part, and this is the front of the skirt. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this and do the same thing for the back as well. So here is the front and back of the dress so far. This is the front. I'm loving the way it's looking so far. Here's the back. So I'm going to put these together. This is so interesting that I'm so hyped about it because it's so different. Next, I'm going to cut out my collar. This pattern, I made it from the prom dress that I did for one of my subscribers. I'm going to link the video for you to go ahead and see how I draped it and then transferred onto a pattern. So what I'm going to do here is add maybe 1.5 inches towards the neck, so that way I can have it cover my whole entire neck. So I'm going to go ahead and place the bottom of this to the neckline of my dress. And just sew it around the neck. So I place it starting at the back, center back of the dress. Here we go. The neckline is in. So here is the back of the dress, fully complete. I inserted my zipper. So this is the inside. Let me flip it on the outside so you guys can see. And voila. Voila. Ooh. She looking fire. She gonna be slaying. Okay, looks good already. No ripple down the back. Love that. I think. I don't know. I can't see. But as of right now, it looks like there's no ripple down the back. And this is it so far. So I'm going to go and work on the skirt and lining. And then work on the sleeve as well. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and sew my sleeves together. So I'm just going to go ahead and freehand my skirt, the front. Actually, I'm going to make this a lot bigger. Okay, so this is the front of my skirt. Okay, so I cut the back of my skirt, and I also cut some lining. This lining is a non-stretch lining. It's a lightweight one, and I'm going to put this underneath because I'm going to be adding tulle, stiff tulle, to the skirt to make it a little bit more poofy, so you can have more body when the fur fabric lays on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put everything together. I did the same for the front as well. So you guys see when I put the skirt on the dress what it would look like. So my gown is fully complete. Okay. I have added the sleeves and everything. And then this is the inside. So I finished the lining. And I'm going to go ahead and install this and add the flounce skirt to the bottom of the hem. And what I want to do on here is put stiff tulle to just give it more body, because I don't want the bottom of the skirt to look too flat. I think if I add a little bit of tulle here on the skirt all the way around, will give it more fullness and body to the outer shell of the skirt. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that on, and then I'm going to go and connect my lining to the gown with this skirt, and I'm done. So here is the gathered tulle, and now I'm just going to apply this on the waist, on the seaming of the skirt bottom, just to give it some more fullness, and then install this to the gown. So here is my lining, and I went ahead and added tulle to the hem of the flounce skirt part of the lining to just give it a little bit more volume, because I didn't want it to be too flat underneath. And so I'm going to go ahead and install this inside the dress from the neck. I'm going to opt out to line the sleeves because the sleeves is very tight and I want a tight look around my sleeve. So I'm just going to go ahead and serge this once I've installed the lining. So I'm going to just pin it at the neck with a 1/2 inch. Sew the neck and then sew it down the zipper. Flip it inside. And then that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and you're going to see the final gown once it's complete. So my gown is finally complete. And this is what it looks like. So I'm going to give it a good press. And here is the inside. I'm going to give it a good press and it is ready to wear. Okay, so this is the Catwoman mask. I found it online on Amazon, and this is the one I found that was closer to my gown because I wanted a plain patented leather one, but I found this matte one, and I was looking for a shiny one but they didn't have it. So what I went and did was I went ahead and got me some Mage Page, okay, high gloss finishing. So I'm painting the mask with that, with a foam brush, and then boom, look at that shiny finish. That's what I want, just plain shiny with nothing on it, because I saw the other mask that had the little, you know, white lines like the Tim Burton version. I didn't want a Tim Burton version, though I did like the Tim Burton version, but I wanted a plain one. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to paint this and then get dressed, honey. Let me put on my Mary J. Blige. Listen to 7 Days. That's my song right there. So I gotta be careful with the strokes. I don't want it to look too strokey. I want it to look like it was actually patented. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be careful with the strokes and make sure in the crevices and in the cracks and crevices that I don't get too much of the product in there where it's like you can see it. So, ooh, yes, gloss in it. Let me finish up.